it says here you speak 5 languages, right? Yeah, I can speak 5 languages, like American, Canadian, British, Irish, and English, of course. Hello everyone, welcome to the virtual class. How are you doing? I hope you are doing well. In this opportunity, we are going to discuss about 5 main topics in sociolinguistics. That is language, dialect, idiolect, register, and style. So before we enter to the 5 main topics, let's discuss about sociolinguistics briefly. Here we go. Okay, as we know just now that sociolinguistics is the field that studies the relationship between language and society. So the important things why we learn the sociolinguistics, first is give us the awareness that sociolinguistics can provide information on different languages. The second is that sociolinguistics can make us be respectful to other language and people to their dialect or idiolect and etc. And do you know how much the languages in the world? So based on the research, there are 7,000 languages in the world that used by 7 million people in the world. So there are 3 major functions of languages. First is informative. Of course, by languages, we can share our knowledge or share information to others. The second is expressive. It means that by languages we can express our idea or what we feel, so the other people can understand, and also we can express our knowledge or idea to people. And the last is performatory. It means that the symbol of the language. Well, by looking at how much the language in the world and also the background of the society, consequently it makes a lot of language variation. So what is the language variation? Language variation refers to the characteristic of the language and also the usage of the language, which is how to say something in the same thing. And also the variation of language includes like dialect, idiolect, register, and style. So that's why we learn it together. Well, the first is dialect. Dialect is any variety of language which is different in pronunciation, grammar, and vocabulary from other variety in the same language. So let me underline this sentence, in the same language. So we can take one example like English language. So English language has more than one variety. For example, American, British, Canadian, Irish, and etc. So the variety of the language we call is as a dialect. So dialect is not just from the difference or the variety of vocabulary, but it is also from the grammar and pronunciation. For example, like pronounce the words in American, the word not. So when they talk or when they pronounce the word, sounds not. Okay, but in the British, the dialect, they pronounce the word like not. I'm not. But in American, I'm not. So we can take or we can see how it's different. And another example like Northern American and Southern American. For example, we can take the words like hello. So Northern American, they pronounce the words hello. But in the Southern American, they pronounce the word howdy. So which one is right and which one is wrong? So in this case, no one is wrong. This is our dialect. This is the variety of language which is pronounced the different of dialect. Sometimes across in our mind was the difference between dialect and accent. Accent like in English language, there are more than 2 or maybe 5 accents like American accent, British accent. So accent refers to the pronunciation or maybe how the people pronounce the word and musically speech of their pronunciation. So we can take one example like American accent when they pronounce the word not, and also how they are pronounced the word in British accent. So in American accent, they pronounce the word is not, okay, but in the British accent, they pronounce the word is not. So it's very different, but it's not just on the pronunciation of the words or maybe of the language, but dialect more than one things like pronunciation, but it is also includes grammar, maybe idioms and vocabulary and etc. So actually dialect is elements of action. The second is adiolect. Adiolect is an individual, distinctive, and unique of use language including speech. So adiolect refers to the personal or characteristic of someone, how they use the language, for example like pronunciation, grammar, and which is different from others. So everyone has a dialect. For example, I have a dialect which is different from others. For example, like choosing the sentence when we greet someone, I prefer like to use the sentence, for example, how are you doing? Then use the sentence, for example, how are you? Maybe I think that how are you is too familiar to others, but I really feel comfortable when I greet someone using the sentence, how are you doing? And also, by a dialect, we can recognize someone even though we do not know where he is or where she is, by listening to her or maybe to his voice. For example, I have a friend besides the room, she is talking, and then when I listen to her voice, so I can recognize, oh, that is my friend, I know him, I know her. That is example.
Okay, everyone, thanks for the time that is given to me to explain about register and style. Okay, I will going to talking about register. What is the register? Okay, register is variety of language used for a particular communicative situation. Okay, definition of register. About definition of register, consists with in what activity, purpose or field language is used for. Okay, the next, what is the function of register? Okay, the function of register, the first, one person can control variety of register. The next, each register help one express his identity at specific time and place. Okay, the next, style. Okay, style, it is a language variation which reflects change in situational factors. Okay, the expression of this style: frozen style, formal style, and casual style. Okay, that's all. Thank you.